welcome back to Who's Who with your host, Olivia Johnson. Today I'm joined by Mason Anderson, a recent Sam Houston graduate and the president of the esports club. Hi Mason, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well today. I'm doing well. For the first time ever, it doesn't feel like a blistering winter storm outside, so,
Right.
figured I'd come on out here.
Right, the sun's out today. It's a beautiful day today.
It really is.
So, what made you want to come to Sam Houston?
So, a big reason I came to Sam Houston, when I originally came here as a freshman in 2018, I actually came here as a music student. I wanted to pursue music education. I had auditioned at a number of colleges around the country, and I kind of felt like Sam Houston was a perfect fit of, small enough to where, you don't feel overwhelmed and just feel like another number.
Right.
You actually feel a part of the community, but big enough to where you are sort of like having that university experience. It's also relatively close to where I'm from, so home's not a plane trip away or something
Right.
like that. And so yeah, I came here as a music education student. Obviously that I'm no longer I'm not a graduate as a music education student, but yeah, that's sort of the big reason why I chose Sam Houston.
Okay, and what bachelor's degree did you get, and what graduate's degree are you working on?
For sure. So I got my bachelor's degree in the fall of 2021.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I got it in mass communications with a focus in broadcast production and a minor in sports media. So in layman's terms, a lot of the things I did here at Sam Houston were relating to this very studio that we're having this show in. And currently right now I'm working on my master's in fine arts in a degree in digital media production. So doing a lot of bigger projects that, in the mass communications department.
Right. And what do you think you're going to do with this degree?
With my degree, I really don't know. I know that's not the best thing to say when you're a graduate student.
Right.
You like to have an idea, but I like to leave all my options open. I've thought about teaching after I get my MFA and going straight into the world of academia. I think end goal though, I do want to try and be a producer for live TV / live events in coliseums and stadiums. Those have always intrigued me, and I do like sort of the franticness of the nature of
Right.
okay, we gotta go hurry, and then you can breathe for 3 seconds and exhale, and then you're
Right.
you're scrambling around again. So
Okay. So you work with the athletic department inputting stats for different sports. Tell me more about that.
Right. So I started that in 2019, in the fall of 2019, as a spotter for actually women's soccer. Since then, I have been with the department since 2019. I've been through COVID. I've been through us winning the national championship in the spring semester of 2021. Which it feels crazy that it was nearly a year ago.
Right.
But I've been through it all. I have seen the highs and lows of Bearcat sports. And so, yeah, it's a very fun department. It's a very fun job to have. And it's let me experience a lot of new things I feel like I wouldn't have gotten to experience
Right.
with not only athletics, but the school in general.
Well, that's exciting. So you're the president of the esports club. Tell
Yes,
me more
ma'am.
about that.
So, so I actually joined the club and the organization in, I believe, 2018, in the spring of 2018, just as a normal student. I saw them tabling right outside the LSE, where the downstairs entrance is,
Right.
in front of right from the Panda Express. I saw them tabling there. I was intrigued by it. I went and talked with some of the guys there. They signed me up for the organization. Wasn't really that active in 2018, 2019. And over 2020. But I really started getting involved near the end of 2020, going into 2021. I tried out for one of the competitive teams that are involved in the club, made it on the team. An interest form was released for officer positions due to some of them graduating. I decided, hey, why not? If I can make a team, certainly I can try out for this.
Right.
Interviewed for that, was elected the human resources officer in, I believe, early February. When March rolled around, the presidential elections came up. I decided, hey, why not? Ran. Was the only one who ran because no one else wanted it. Got elected as president, and here we are today.
That's exciting to see how you move up in the club.
Right. It's, a lot of people, it's this year I was this, and then, I waited for months. For me, it was boom, 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 boom.
Right.
A very streamlined quick access process where
Right.
I'm like, okay, I guess I'm this now.
Right.
We'll figure this out as I go.
So what are your duties as president?
So as president, I oversee all of the operations of the organization, from stuff that the public sees and stuff that the public we cannot reveal to the public. This is including but not limited to operations of our competitive teams, operations of all our social media, projects, brands, outreach, all our inner workings with players and members, all our community events, all of our big events that we do in the LSC, all sponsorships, branding, that kind of stuff. I don't really have a direct hand in anything. Like, I'm micromanaging a certain
Right.
what's the word, like section of the org, but I sort of oversee everything and, delegate as I need to.
Okay. And do you like that role?
I do. I think like I said earlier on in the show, one of the big things is when I'm done here, I do want to be a producer. So it's sort of like fulfilling that role and giving me not direct experience, but experience being able to manage a lot of different things going on, because, when you are a producer, especially in for live events, you're having to manage, okay, on-field cameras, on-field audio, cameras around the stadium, sky cams, talent, you have on-air talent, radio talent, you have a lot of different things you're trying to micromanage, and you can't put all of your attention on just one thing.
Right.
Now, sometimes you will have to spend more attention on certain things because, it's either a serious situation or, something's lacking there. But for the most part, I do enjoy it. I do enjoy, being able to oversee everything and know what's happening. I'm not perfect at it. I'm still sort of learning as I go. But it is something I very much enjoy.
Well, that's good to hear. So when did your passion for esports kind of start?
I would probably say around my senior year of high school is when my passion started. It's always something that I've enjoyed doing. Obviously, I came to Sam Houston as a music education major,
Right.
so at the time, my first big passion was music. But whenever I recognized that it wasn't really what I wanted to do as a career, it's still something I love, but I can't really see myself doing this for 10, 20 plus years. I was like, okay, what else do I really enjoy doing? So I was like, okay, sports are the big thing. Obviously, I work with athletics, but sports and esports were kind of my two big passions then. And okay, what can I do that allows me to sort of, have that marriage? So esports was sort of that home for me, and I feel like my niche, because when everyone comes to college, you're just trying to fill your niche.
Right.
What is your role? What do you enjoy doing that can benefit, the greater good? And so that's what I felt like my niche was, for Sam Houston. So that's sort of when it started. It did help. My freshman year, I was a semi-professional player. That marriage between me and being a semi-pro was short-lived and very. The divorce was very not good, to say the very least. But that's all I will explain. That's all I'll get into with that.
Sometimes divorce can be messy.
Right.
Tell me more about what it's like to participate in collegiate esports.
So collegiate esports, it is probably one of the coolest things out there for any student. The way I describe it to people, it's like, imagine football, college football, where you have each division,
Right.
you have subdivision, stuff like that. Except you get rid of all the conferences and divisions, and you could go play the big brands of UT Austin, A&M, Bama, all these schools, or you could go play schools you've never heard of. I always joke around with new players on the team. It's like you're gonna be figure out man, this big name school really isn't that good, but then some random school you've never heard of and you don't even know where they're from will just kick your butt, and you'll be like, what the? So it's really fun. It's really cool to also meet a lot of new people and like-minded college people, because they are your colleagues. So
Right.
it is something that's very fun to participate in.
Okay. Was it hard to recruit others for your team?
Not really. It's not. I don't find it very hard to recruit for the organization. I feel like not only do we recruit for not really professional, but for collegiate gaming, like competitive gaming, we also recruit for casuals as well. So it's sort of a home for the people who, can't really do the physical rec sports or aren't really
Right.
interested in like Greek life or other things like that. They just want to, play games with their friends and that kind of stuff.
Okay. So what's your favorite thing about esports and being on the team?
I think my favorite thing about esports is the camaraderie between like your friends and the new bonds you make. I have a lot of friends who still go to Sam Houston who are like, friends for life. And, they have like truly been a blessing to me. They have helped me out through a lot of things. And I think that's my favorite thing. And I think I would recommend that to anyone looking to join esports is that, like the bonds you make with people are my biggest selling point.
Right.
Because again, like I said, it is like-minded people playing together. It is people who enjoy playing video games. It's not like, I don't want to bash Greek life, but Greek life, it's like, there's so many different variables that like it's just like trying to throw a bunch of ingredients
Right.
that don't really mesh together. I feel like sometimes into a pot. With esports, it's like there's one compounding ingredient that everyone enjoys playing games with each other. So that's my big thing, and that's probably how I would answer that is just like the camaraderie between the people.
It's understandable, the friendships that you make over time.
Exactly.
Now I have to ask, do you prefer esports or regular sports?
Oh, I mean, it depends. I mean, I'm way better at playing esports. I am not the most physically active and or built dude. I mean, I do try and keep myself a little, in shape. But honestly, I would say esports.
You think so?
But I do very much enjoy sports, and I can, talk my head off about that. So it's kind of a 50-50 relationship. If I had to choose, I would say esports, but I love them both equally. I do think though that with esports in general though, as just kind of like a sidebar, as I just kind of thought about it, esports is something that I think that a lot of people are it's like taboo still, right? And I think the biggest thing to tell people, that I would say with people is that, don't ever knock something because it's, very much like, out of, like they don't really know what it is with the collegiate scene, because a lot of people do still enjoy playing it. And I know that there's a lot of situations where people are worried about like, oh, do video games cause violence? Isn't healthy for our kids?
Right.
That kind of stuff. I would always tell people that, yeah, there are some things that video games can like affect your health. Like, you're up late at night. You maybe aren't, eating the healthiest things in the world, right? But I think the benefits of the connections and friendships you make, as well as just the experiences you can experience in the world of esports, like far outweigh the down cost. So I always tell administration and people who are, maybe hesitant about it to be like, you need to try it and you need to give it its fair shot.
Okay. Do you have any upcoming events?
We do. We have a lot of our games streamed on twitch.tv/SHSU Esports. That is the best way you can watch our players play. We also do try to promote all of our events on Twitter. You can find us at SHSU Esports, just one long word. And yeah, that's where you can mostly find us, is through those sites.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Mason, for joining us today. Remember to check out esports on the SHSU.org link. Thank you for joining us this week. I'm your host, Olivia Johnson.